Great. How's everybody doing today? So, I've got a couple of topics that I want to combine today in order to speak about them in holistic fashion. And those two topics are twin flame energetics and the archontic presence and influence upon individuals, collectives, and also the interface between the two, which are couples. I do a lot of work with twin flame energetics from the divine masculine perspective, obviously. I'm able to do so and to intuit the current energetics in regards to this mode of being because I am a relatively balanced individual between my male and female sides. And so I am able to stand in the breach as the divine masculine experiences what amounts to a traumatic reconfiguration of the relationship between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, particularly since the new moon equinox portal that we just passed through. We have seen a roller coaster ride of emotions and material and immaterial resets that have left males and females alternately in states of extreme ecstatic experience and the highs of emotional ebullience and energetic high vibrational resonance. And we have also experienced the depths of self-doubt, self-control, and ruminations and dwellings upon the past, fears for the future, things of that sort. The divine masculine and the divine feminine have been alternating between the expression of the dark divine feminine and the dark divine masculine because this is a time of desperate reconfiguration. And I can say that because, as we all know, this is a time of upheaval. So, how many of you out there have been experiencing really traumatic relationship issues? Anybody? How many of you are in what you would consider to be a twin flame relationship? And by twin flame, I'm not speaking of what some would call a soulmate relationship. A soulmate relationship, in my understanding and experiences, can be held with any number of partners during the course of a lifetime. These are the individuals that we meet, that we feel physically or mentally connected to, drawn to. We could have a nice physical pheromonic attraction that is augmented by an intellectual or emotional attraction. And so this draws us into relationship with this person, with these people, because there are multiple individuals that can fulfill the role of a soulmate. A twin flame relationship is something different. A twin flame relationship is an individual whose resonance cycle is such that this person expresses an oppositional relationship to you. So totally oppositional that you are perfect complements to each other as you and when you are resonating at the same frequency. Twin flames can meet each other in the physical. They can be together or they cannot be together. Either way, whether or not they are physically in the same space or not, whether or not they are in physical relationship with each other, if they are boyfriend or girlfriend, if they're just friends, or if they are married, they are doing work at the physical level, but also at the immaterial level, at the higher energetic level of being. So twin flame work occurs in the physical, as in twin flames can express a certain way of being and interrelating in the world that other people see and use to guide themselves in their own material relationships. A twin flame relationship is like the relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, I guess you could say. In fact, that might be an archetypal configuration that we can use in order to define a twin flame relationship. Now, most of us are not in relationships like that in any way, shape, or form. And so our relationships are fraught with emotional issues that we bring to the relationship from our lives. Because the relationships that we bring from our lives into our interactions with each other are so basic to our personality formation, they end up defining those relationships and defining where they can go and how they are expressed. Because we rarely are able to be fully ourselves in any type of relationship with another, because we have so much that we've gathered over the course of a lifetime that expresses itself and that we call ourselves but really isn't part of our personality complex, not necessarily our core sense of individuality and our expressed incarnational orientation. So, twin flames come to Earth for a very specific purpose. Often they come to Earth in order to work on higher energetic ascension mechanics. I guess that's a way to phrase it. These ascension mechanics have to do with the template of couples, but they also have to do with the expression of the divine masculine and divine feminine as we come back into equality, which is what is actually going on right now. As this age is ending and as this new age, the age of Aquarius, is coming, the divine masculine and divine feminine are resetting their relationship. The divine feminine has been literally under the thumb of the both positive and the negative divine masculine for thousands and thousands of years, right? We've seen the rise of this particular material expression of civilization in the patriarchal hegemony that has pretty much defined the historical period, what we would call the historical period, leading out of the golden age of about 4000 to 2000 BC. Before then, there was a different way of being. The world was more matriarchal in nature. And the great agricultural civilizations of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, of the early Neolithic people of Europe, of the Americas, everywhere around the world where humans and the hominids that we call Neanderthals, Denisovans, and the different types of hominid creatures that inhabited the earth existed, there were societies that were often led by females, or that feminine power was ascendant within. Well, that's changed during the historical period, and for those of us who have followed history, we know the ramifications of that shit. Let me be clear, it is not just the divine masculine that has its dark side, it is the divine feminine as well. In fact, the divine feminine dark side is something that humanity experiences when the matriarchy is in full effect and male or patriarchal energies are repressed. Each cycle has its dark aspect, and each cycle must manifest both dark and light as these cycles forever move between the different poles of feminine and masculine, which are, in Hermetic terms, okay, had to kind of reconfigure there because I was having some issues with heat and recording. So I was saying that the two halves of the feminine and masculine expression are both part of what in the Hermetic wisdom is called gender, right? We also have polarity, we have complementarity, which speaks to as above, so below, and also vibration as well. And these are all aspects of fundamental expression of reality that interact with each other and create this material plane that we exist on in the context of sacred geometry and the 0-point field, which is where all of that quantum science I mentioned the other day comes into play, where you're talking about quarks and mesons and spooky movement at a distance, as Einstein put it way back in the day. All right, so now I think that should give us kind of a general understanding of the twin flame imperative. But right now I want to add another aspect to the mix, and that is the Archontic influence upon the twin flame relationship, which again refers to all relationships in some form or fashion. Because all relationships, whether they're with soulmates, enemies, they are miniature expressions of what would be the perfected expression of interrelation on the material plane, which would be the twin flame relationship. The Archontic influence refers to that inorganic collective entity, alternately known as the Flyers, the Foreign Installation, the Archons, Wetiko, and different words, monkey mind even, expresses that energetic imminence and preoccupation with control that influences the lives of humans. It affects relationships as well. There's a woman out there who does energetic work and research. Her name is Eve Lorgan. She talks about the alien love bite. And in the context of this alien love bite, she mentions greys, she mentions reptilians, and she talks about how these entities, which she deems to be alien, influence relationships. They bring people together for specific reasons, often primarily to create Loosh. And Loosh is the energetic output that we release whenever we are in traumatic emotional mode, whenever we are upset, angry, whenever we're fighting with someone, whenever we are angry about something that happened in our life. It releases a certain type of energy that is food for higher energetic beings, higher vibrational or vibratory beings that feed off of humans like we eat sheep and like we eat plants and things of that sort. So Eve Lorgan considers these entities to be aliens. She calls it the alien love bite. But the Gnostics, particularly as written in the Nag Hammadi scrolls, believe that the reptilian and gray alien entities are natural entities, that they are the scions of the lead Archon, who is known as Yildibaroth, who is a blind and crazy god, who the Old Testament calls Yahweh. So, whatever the case may be, there are non-organic, inimical entities out there that influence and infect our relationships with the monkey mind ruminations that never cease. But they also influence the world around us. For individuals who are on the path into the light and who seek to manifest a higher mode of being, they live consciously, they meditate, they're able to utilize this space between thought, word, and action in order to manifest their presence in the world in a manner in which leads them into higher and higher cycles of resonation. Those who do not have this way of being in the world, or who have not come yet to be able to express themselves in this manner, are more prone to acting in an emotional manner and to entering into this cycle of Loosh production that feeds the Archontic entities that exist within us all and that communicate between each other and use the same types of language between different types of couples, maybe even the same exact words, in different phrases, in different languages, creating that mental chatter that we hear in our heads that cycles on and never seems to cease. So, the Archontic influence often can take a high resonating twin flame couple and lower them to the depths of dark divine masculine, dark divine feminine expression, where these two people who otherwise love each other are expressing the lowest aspects of their nature, and they are seeking to hit each other energetically, psychically, to create this Loosh release so that those archons, those flyers associated with each individual can feed off of that Loosh production and also stop that energetic resonance from happening in that instance for whatever reason. Now, these entities that exist at a higher level of being understand us better than we understand ourselves often. And they have access to information beyond time and space that we do not have access to. And they know that when they interact with certain couples or with the twin flame imperative and those collective representatives of it currently consciously at work in the higher grids of planetary, solar systemic, and galactic energetic production, they are stopping mandatory work in what really is an inevitable process of light ascendance. Again, it's a movement always between dark and light polarity. So right now we're headed toward the light, and so there are forces that are inimical to that and that wish to see that not occur. And these Archontic forces, as they work within twin flame relationships and everyone else's relationships, influence that movement toward the light, slow it down in whatever way that they can. So it becomes imperative upon the twin flame representatives to be aware of this, to be aware that the thoughts that they hear, the energies that suddenly pervade them, their bodies, their physical bodies through their solar plexus usually, are not energies that originate with them. Those thoughts are not thoughts that originate with them. Although words and actions that exist external to them, that may be their partner has engaged in or done is interpreted through them with the influence of the Archontic voice, the monkey mind chatter, that causes them to interpret these interactions, these words, these actions in a negative way, the most negative way possible. So this is something to look out for. Whenever you're interacting with your partner, no matter where you are in your relationship or what you call it, how are you interpreting what they say and do? Are you interpreting it in the highest manner possible or the lowest manner possible? The question that you have to ask yourself is there another way to see this? Am I interpreting this negatively when there is an equally possible positive interpretation that I could make? And this is a serious question because sometimes there are. And you don't realize that until after you've made that negative interpretation. And then your partner tells you, wait a minute, that's not it at all. I was not doing that. That was not my intention. And then they explain to you what they mean and you're like, oh, okay, I see. And then, you feel remorse. You feel embarrassment because you automatically went toward the most negative interpretation. So this is why we have to attempt to cultivate equanimity. We have to attempt to cultivate balance, because through balance we are able to see beyond the voice, see beyond the monkey mind, see beyond the Archontic influence, and we are able to interpret our experiences in a balanced manner. And this is so important right now to do so, because one decision can break apart a couple, can cause a shift in the world that it may take days, weeks, or even years to recover from. And that's a setback. That would be a setback to the light work that is done by individuals in any type of relationship, and particularly in the twin flame relationship. Now, there are those individuals out there who are energetic workers who embrace darkness, and there are those out there who are energetic workers who embrace light. Again, an expression of polarity, an expression of gender, an expression of complementarity, an expression of vibration. For every light worker, there is what you might call a dark worker out there. There's balance in the world, And so it's imperative to know who the people we are dealing with are, where they are on this scale, and how our interactions are affecting each other as well as our higher path. So as we move forward into the time that is now arrived and settling in, as we become more accustomed to this new, higher vibratory state of being in which we currently exist, the new earth is coming in. And it is time to stake our ground, to ground into this new reality and to set ourselves up for success, because it is the time for the light to rise and to pervade all aspects of beingness, which means it is time to manifest. If you are a light worker and your life has been difficult and your relationships haven't worked out and you haven't been able to be with your twin and everything has seemed to be against you, and every time you took a step up, you got knocked back down by some external coincidence or force that just appeared to dash all of your dreams, well, those types of things may still occur, but it will be easier for you to recover from them and to see them as the opportunities that they are for you to recenter yourself and to claim your goals and to further hone your vision into something as realistic as possible. Because, as I mentioned in the last video, grounding is what it's all about right now. Being a part of this world and influencing this world in preparation for all that is to come next. Now, nobody knows exactly what's coming next, but it is going to be exciting and it is going to be world shifting. And we're all here to see and make it what it is going to be. That's our purpose in being here, right? All right, y'all. I think that's it for now. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.